Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Job Shop USA. My name is Keith and I'm your host. We're in my job shop today and we're just about ready to set up the bottom side of our fixture for our indexing stop over on the grinding machine. All right, now before I put this in here, I wanted you to see the bottom surface of that. All right, you can see that you can still see the water jet marks there. So all I did was just basically, the pierce was in the center and then it went around the part and came back to here. And that's just kissing it on the sander. So we had a nice smooth surface right there. And I've set up that parallel and we're going to turn this thing around and we're going to set it up in here just like that for a quick setup. All right, but today started out over at the Rutland lathe, and then we went from there to the water jet to cut out this. So here's how that went. Second shaft, and we've finished all diameters, and we come to this end, and this raised area right here is the diameter of the bore we dressed on that gear. This is the one that spun on the shaft. So this straightaway is no longer one straight dimension like the other side or the first side we ground. This is 10 thousandths over the bearing diameter here. That's what we found on the first one when we ground it without filming it. So now we're going to film the same thing we did on the first one on this one here. We got to establish a touch off. We just redressed our wheel also. Oh, we have to put air to this. All right. Now we're just going to come in and touch. There we go. Okay, you can see from here to there, the grinding is starting. This diameter right here will be for the bearing. All right, I stopped to measure this, but at the same time, I wanted you to realize why this wouldn't have been a good idea for well building and or flame spraying like Adam Booth that does in his videos and shows the process. And both welding or flame spraying are good, valid processes for different applications. But this being that this is only being built up for the gear, and this is a straightaway that's going to be undersized, and there's two keyways across from each other. Well building, you would have had to have one. Anytime that you do any welding is going to warp the rest of the shaft. You're going to have a hard time getting it back 100% true. Then you have to get back in there and you have to mill the end mill or the keyway slots 180 in here as well. So the actual grind surface or the surface here is actually split. There isn't a complete diameter to work with. You're having to jump over a key on both sides of the shaft. One, that becomes a week for a shell of flame spray, and also a lot of extra work for milling keyways. So that's the reason why I chose making a complete new shaft from scratch. It all comes down to this area that spun and scored the shaft and opened up the gear bore as well. That's the whole reasoning. There's the whole analytic mindset on this issue. So anyway, while I had it right here, we're staring right at it, and this shows you the different surface quality from this surface right here, and they are going to be two different diameters, and this is a good way to show you what you actually have around this key to work with. Okay, I just cleaned up at 1 inch 145, and we need to go 1 inch 135, and this would be 10 thousandths over the 1 inch 125 diameter, which will be this diameter here. This diameter is done, and right there is the line we're going to come in with this diameter. So we're going to continue feeding it down. We're at 1 inch 135 right now, and this is going to be 1 inch 125 for the bearing diameter. And here's our last thousandths on this diameter. Very good. Nice. I brought out one of the new bearings because that's what we're going to make sure that everything slides on here the way it was. This is the old shaft. That's the surface we just did. Nice. Other end. See that diameter is the same all the way there, whereas this end here, if you don't get it started just right, it won't slide on. It gets to there, and this is where that gear that we ground out goes right on there. I told you. Oh, don't make me. Don't make me. Come on. You don't want to do that down in the hole, right? Okay. isn't, that, isn't that hilarious? It isn't. It is. All right. Awesome. Now on to grind our splines. Just a few minutes ago, I was sharing with my local platform there, live shot, looking down through an opening over here on this part here. I actually have that 1-inch aluminum in here, and we're cutting out that shape, and it's getting close to being done. So I brought you in here, so we're going to catch when this gets done here. We're going to take a look at our part right off the machine. All right, it says 99%, so we're just going to be standing by here. Still doing real good on sand. Real close, you can start hearing that water swirling into the chamber where it was at when it was doing the piercing. All right, here we go. All right, I'm going to stop my little camera here. All right, and I think we're going to pop it out of the holder here and we're going to wash it off. Gotta love the GoPro 11. Still amazes me how you keep the speakers and all of that waterproof. I actually had this in salt water, submerged it, turned it around, and was looking up at Lisa and I, and you could hear us laughing. So, pretty cool little camera. Okay, powering that off. All right, let's go ahead and check out our part now. All right. Drain the water down. All right, water's down to the table level. Looks good. Looks good. You can see that. I'm not before I pry on it or anything else there. It's a nice looking cut. Oh, it's loose. See it? It's 1 inch thick. I might not be able to cock it and get it out of there. So I'm going to unscrew it and we'll get it out and we'll take a look at it. You can see the little screws here were only in about 3/8 of an inch. Really doesn't take much to hold them in there. I've seen a couple other units where they got spring-loaded fingers, and I might make that aluminum piece around here and make a few fingers that go down and bolt it down. All right, now it's loose. Just a little tiny spot right there that took care of that little tiny spot. Okay, you get first look at it. Not too bad. This was actually cut with the 7/8 thick settings. There really wasn't a setting for 1 inch thick. If I wanted to, I could probably slow it down a little bit more. But heck, that's my test at 1 inch. They did state that it would cut 1 inch, and it did cut 1 inch, and it actually cut this piece out without any issues. It really hasn't shorted me any material anywhere. Gave me a little extra where it turned the corners there, but it didn't short me any material here. It kind of skirts out whenever it goes around the corner. You see that? It actually, yeah, you can see it. You can see it, you know, it gave you, when it goes around the corner, it gave extra material. It didn't take none away. So I can probably just go and kiss this on the block and it'd be pretty true. And actually, from this to be the bottom and then the squareness, by eye, it's not off. Okay, it might be off by a little square or whatever, but pretty cool. I had a question in one of my other videos on cleaning up machine. I just ran it on the cleaning cycle, and it said empty the bends. Of course, there was just that one part I cut. So what I do is I take the bends right here, and then with the wash down hose, now it's easy to just get right in here. You don't have to sit there and tap the bends to empty them, and you just rinse them out like that into a container. Let me get the other one in here. There again, about half full, maybe a little less than half. I fill the water back up into the bends there so that they're fully sitting down in place. And the water level and the management stays real equal. If you have them full of water already, they don't have to fill up before they start balancing out the tank. All right. And then we usually just go another maintenance there. We just go use the brace-up collection. We let that circulate a little bit. And then tomorrow morning, I'll take that out and I'll dump it into my dumpster. That's it. I'm cleaning up. All right, we're going to get this zeroed in and set up on our readout and grab our end mills, and we're going to start milling away. Until next time, thank you for visiting Job Shop USA. Cool.